not
folks.
talking
If you're wondering where the bid was this week, it didn't exist because of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV with an expanded free trial, which you can play through the entirely Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heavensward expansion up to level 60 for free with no play restrictions.
It's true.
Moving on. Hello, welcome to Weeboo TrashTalk, your number one unranked weekly anime podcast. Every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Central Time, we come to you live for our trash takes on anime news, house topics, and what we've been watching right here at twitch.tv/CLSP. Please remember, if you have Amazon Prime and you have Prime Gaming and one free monthly Twitch sub for any channel, it'll be a channel for you. But if not, I completely understand. If you can't sub to the channel, what you could do is play the critical acclaim MMORPG. We did that joke already. Never mind. Anyway, I'm your host, CLSP. You can call me P. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. Well, actually, one co-host, El Chefe himself, Mingo at Cooking with Chefe on Facebook, is not here with us this week. Had some other things to care of. Hopefully, we'll be back next week. But I am alongside the world's number one meal enthusiast, Gallant of Gallant Zeros on Twitter and Twitch.
Please pray for me. I have, I believe, 7 cans left. Baja Summer is ending.
Go buy more.
I don't think there's any more Baja in stores. I think it's all switched over to Voodoo.
Oh, okay. Okay. Never mind. I thought you were about to say, no, there's no more special flavors in the store. So, like, I will murder someone. I only drink one can a week now at this point, but still. Like, my Baja Summer is going to be a Baja Winter. Just watch.
Jealous.
I mean, I'll be honest, since I've really gotten off of sugar, I had like the major melon today, but I've just been off sugar for so long, didn't really taste like anything.
Huh.
It just honestly didn't. It just tasted like sweet stuff. But I didn't like taste the unique flavor, I guess. It was weird. Weird experience. Anyway, this is episode 9 on Wednesday, September the 8th, 2021. That's correct, right? Yes, it is. Okay. And this week, not going to have anything too major for you. Nothing newsworthy really happening this week. We're just going to go ahead and give you, as always, what we've been watching, some catalog updates, new announcements, and new dates for you, along with a required reading this week as well that we're definitely going to go ahead and talk about a little bit. But before we get to all that, we will begin, as always, with what we've been watching. I'm going to start us off first. And this week, what I watched first was, in fact, Eden's Zero.
Yeah, I know that it's that one. So there's a bit of a how does this sound good in English? Yes, no. Who cares? It's Japanese.
Here's the thing about it, though. If I look at it, sometimes the apostrophe is there, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's what really makes me like second guess it, because it's like, well, how am I saying this? Am I saying it possessively, plurally?
Yeah.
Because if it's possessively, apostrophe should be there, yes?
Yeah.
But it's not. So, like, grammatically, the name doesn't make sense. Why are there Eden's Zero? There are multiple Edens that are 0? Or is it Edens as in Eden's 0? Eden owns this 0, which makes sense because it's the name of a ship. So as a name, it would make sense that Eden's is possessive of 0.
The Eden's 0, yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it just not Eden 0?
That's what I thought it was until I saw the name. But no, the way you're saying right there, the Eden's 0, that makes sense. So, technically in that way, we look at the name that way, then the ship's name technically is 0, but this is, so, or is it the Eden's and that ship number is 0? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out more about that as we go on.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say you probably won't, because Mashima probably didn't think about that and was like, it sounds cool.
I don't know how he does this to me every fucking time.
Sometimes you make it sound cool and then you figure it out later.
God damn it. Okay, so this is Hiro Mashima's newest joint on anime, and this was his next manga after ending Fairy Tail. Even though he didn't really end Fairy Tail because he was basically doing Eden Zero at the same time he was doing Fairy Tail, the 100-Year Quest, because he just never walked away from it. And I think it finished at some point, but yeah, it was a weird thing. Like he was just doing multiple things at once because he didn't want to let go of anything. But yeah, no. So Eden Zero is the latest biggest project from Hiro Mashima, creator of things such as Fairy Tail, Rave Master.
Those are the two big ones that I know.
Yeah,
from
two
him.
big ones. Yeah, the two big ones. He's done other smaller work on there, and he's have a collection out there as well of side stories. I think it was like Monster Tamer or something of that nature. Monster Carnival, Monster Festival, something like that. I can't think of the name. I own the book, but I'm not going to go look for it right now.
He's not Monster Rancher?
Not Monster Rancher, no. That's somebody else. That's a game. But I will say this. So I'm a Hiro Mashima is my favorite manga, my favorite creator of Japanese series, because it's always the same thing. It's always friendship is the best thing in the world, and we do anything for our friends, and there is magic, there is tech, but it is never a matter of just special skills. It is absolutely let's catch these hands. And I'm gonna tell y'all, that's the fact here. The main character in this game, no, I'm sorry, the main character in this anime, Shiki, is actually just straight up, hey, I'm a flying brawler. So it's Natsu without the fire again.
Amazing.
And I'm down with it because his power is that his fists and arms and everything glow green. He flies around like that and has like green flames kind of when he gets super powerful. But he's just flying around bashing people's faces in. And I think that the biggest thing about this for me is, or the confusing thing about it is the fact that the animation, when they choose to do it, is actually really, really good. But then other times they just choose not to. Like that is the only critique I have on it before I go into all the things I like about it, is that they do actually really good animation, like really good solid animation for the most part. And at certain points they just choose not to for whatever reason. Which is, it just kind of stands out when they choose not to, because like they clearly know how they like do it all the time. You will see in the trailer, it is surprising. Like, it's there 1 second and then it's not the next, and it's very odd to me. Because for those who are big fans of Mashima, and Gallant, you would know this as well, this is basically Mashima doing more so of his harder stuff, committing to his harder adult themes.
Okay.
Like, this is not. They swear. They have a lot more blood in this. It's not so much that it's more pervy or less pervy than the other series, but it does go more adult in terms of it. Like one of the villains you meet in there is actually just kidnapping women to turn them into statues, and it's a very real thing of like, no, this is a scumbag. This is what a scumbag looks like. And there's one character that you meet relatively early on who is traumatized by a bully and like things of this nature, and it's just a lot of like he pretty much goes, I don't want to say like it's edgy, but it is a lot more of like he's not trying to be the kid story this time around. It's legitimately like, no, we'll have some adult themes in here, we'll have some rough stuff happening in here, and things of that nature going on. So that's refreshing.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's refreshing. It's just refreshing for him to be like, nah, if anything, this is like teens and young adults type stuff, like hardcore. This is not trying to be mainstream per se. I will show that I am very happy that for those who don't know, everyone probably more familiar with like, oh, the Natsu, the Lucy, the Gray. No, the actual trifecta of Mashima is the Haru, the Ellie, and the Musica. That's the actual flow through, okay? I'm sorry to do the stories for you kids, but that's the actual main cast that grows from there. Everybody else is just on there.
Sounds like some boomer shit.
Huh?
I said sounds like some boomer shit.
What are you talking about?
like being an anime boomer.
I'm just saying it's the truth. That's the actual thing. Urza came out of fucking nowhere. Urza can't be done again. He does not try to do her again. The Urza character in this series, when you see her, is like, hey, here's this thing I needed to talk to you about. Okay, peace. We're too important for you. And that's it. So like he
That's
he
unfortunate.
he knew he struck gold lightning the first time. He didn't try to do it twice because
I mean,
I just don't think he was like, nah, I'm not gonna try and rebuild this character again. It's literally just gonna be the same character because the other characters aren't really them, but you can tell they're the archetype. And with hers, was like, you know, I can't really explain away why this super powerful character isn't just solving all the problems themselves again.
hmm
So he doesn't try to. He just sends them off someplace else. Like, I'm about it. Cool. It was a cool introduction. Like it honestly stuck with me. It was like, okay, okay. You knew that character archetype was painting you in a corner last time. You just didn't want to deal with it again. I respect it because that's all I was thinking about the entire time. And when it actually like has the moment of like letting you realize who exactly the Urza character is this time around, you
hmm
understand why it's like, oh yeah, you can't roll with them. You got shit to do. Like, so okay, cool. If anything, you could have like a side story or some shit, but you can't roll with the main cast.
hmm
There'd be no drama there.
You're you're too powerful.
Yeah. I will say it did kind of blow my mind. At first, I thought we were gonna get away because like the actual side characters, uh, or the actual side character that always is there as well is one the mascot character. This time around, it's literally just Happy again. They even had Tia Ballard come back and voice Happy again, but it's a completely different Happy. But yeah, it's just Happy again. Happy
Wow.
is the mascot character again, who transforms into giant tonfa guns that or not tonfa gun, but just giant or two like giant pistols that
hmm
the Ellie character uses to fight and is not useless. And I'm about it. Like there are a number of
Huh.
times when she just straight up caps people, and that I'm about this character not being useless. I hope that sticks with it. It was interesting to see the the Julia Windy character come back this time around as the samurai character.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's cool to see Julia Windy character, but far more adult and like, yeah, this is what's going on. And this has a lot more like mature characters around of like, hey, we're just here to guide the main character and his friends. So like we'll get more in there probably as time goes on,
hmm
but we're kind of more here in the guidance role initially. And it's like, okay, cool. Because I've seen some images for like later, not
hmm
arcs, but later, like it's Mashima, later like cover titles basically, and
Yeah.
like who's kind of like going to be the characters that were reoccurring basically, and
Yeah.
it's honestly cool. I will say for anyone who gets thrown off by the musical character this time around, Weiss, I think it was that person's hair, because I was very put off by it as well. Don't worry, eventually he just gets gray hair. Apparently, from what I've seen on there, so that
Wow.
stupid ass haircut goes away at some point, which I don't blame him for. It's a very stupid haircut. Um, and there's also like it's only 12 episodes on there. The backdrop is basically this is the first time I think Mashima has gone all in on space travel. It is actually set in space. You're going to different worlds. They decide that their overarching thing is going to be they're going to try and find the deity known as Mother. You might be seeing here in the trailer sometimes around here, like right here, the lady like who's standing on this like random mountaintop. She's apparently giant. Apparently in this world, there's this whole thing of like everyone was trying to find Mother at one point, and they kind of figured out they can't do it. Now just picking odd jobs, and the goal is to go do that. And the Ellie character, the Lucy character that the main character is with, is keeping it young, hip, and cool. Is actually
hmm
what their universe is. An aspiring YouTuber, basically trying to get
Huh.
subscriber numbers up. So that's their whole thing. That's how they find the main characters. They go to his planet where he's at to try and make popular videos, and hijinks ensue, and that's just kind of how things grow from there. So they decide they're going to document this travel, this moment for Mother. What's really weird, and this is something you find out at I think the end of the second or third episode, so not really spoilers, it's not very early on. They don't come back to it a lot. I don't know, maybe they do it differently in the manga, but they essentially show like, oh, at one point they find something that like belongs to the main character 20,000 years in the future next to skeletons. Now, for anyone who's read Rave Master, that's a very traumatizing thing to hear. But we don't know if that's the thing yet. Because after they show that, they start the next episode with, oh, hi, I'm the narrator of the story. Even though they don't narrate every episode. They're just kind of there randomly to inform you that they're telling a story that is a super old story. So we'll see what that turns into.
Huh.
It's a lot of weird motifs that Mashima's working with this time around. And I don't know. I'm honestly excited. Like I said before, it's good quality. I'm surprised, but also very happy with the quality in this one. My biggest complaint about it is like, I don't understand why sometimes they just choose not to proceed with the quality. But it's nice to see Mashima clearly telling possibly his most adult story so far. Not in terms of like, oh, it sounds better or it's got higher stakes in nature. It's just like, if you know what I mean when I say Mashima and his adult side, that's what you're getting. For anyone who doesn't know that, you'll notice it is trying to be a bit more well, it's not trying to be as much of a kid's show as Fairy Tale was. I think people forget, like, you, because only at the very end of Fairy Tale, during like the final battle arc, do you really see Mashima kind of go harder with his more darker side of the stories he can try and tell. But anyone who's been a fan of Rave Master's all the work, like I spoken to Gallant about it. I believe I got Gallant into Rave Master like way early on.
I finished it. I can't. Yeah. I wish I could remember it.
Yeah,
it's been so long. That's QVC era.
But like a lot of the hard stuff, like like torture and things of that nature, stuff like that. Like there are times where people who just I think a lot of people were like very distraught by some of the things that Mashima does. I will say this: when I say like Mashima knows how to go more adult, near the end of Fairy Tale, there is imagery of crucifixion, basically, because Mashima doesn't know how to go there. He just didn't want to go there very much for a Fairy Tale. He said from the start, Fairy Tale was his Everything's Happy series.
The mascot's name is fucking Happy. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's knows nice what he's doing.
Yeah, so it's nice to see him go back to some more. I hate saying the word because it just sounds such like an Edgelord type thing. It's not really an Edgelord thing, but it's just like nice to see
stories,
him go back
the stories that have like that don't have as light a tone.
Yeah, slightly darker tone of what's going on there, like the actual consequence or actually like bad things do happen. So that's really cool, and yeah, I don't know, like the first episode legit ends in a very depressing way. Like literally, it's an incredibly depressing thing. As far as I'm aware, is for keeps. And how would I put this? So without spoiling anything, I would say like the thing you have to understand is the main character was found and then taken to this planet with nothing but robots. Robots eventually break down and die in this universe. And it's just, you get interested into the idea that death does happen in this universe and like what friendship means and sacrifice and all that within the first episode. So like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but it's still like an uplifting message, but it's honestly that's depressing how the first episode ends, but it also kind of sets the tone for what the series will be. Never too sad, never too dark, but a really happy middle that will still hit you in some way. So, like I said, it's nice to see Mashima doing that again. I'm very excited. I tried finding a place I could read it online legally, but they only have up to where the anime ends in manga format available. I found one place, I believe it was the app. Let me look at the name. Azuki. Azuki had everything from, let me see here. So the initial chapters it covers is up to chapter 23. And then if you can find some place to read more, chapters from 87 onward to like 158 are available there to read legally. Anywhere else, I'm not quite sure, but I can't find anything on there. But I'm definitely intrigued. I can't wait to see more. If I have a chance to read read it like more openly legally, I will absolutely take that opportunity because it's fun. It's already bought me in. I like the fact once again Mashima is back to changing outfits again, and I love it.
Hell yeah. I mean,
So,
that's the good shit. Mashima's very good at, when he's designing that stuff.
yeah. So that was Eden Zero for me. Now we can go and talk about both Gallant and I.
Oh yeah.
Is Shin Godzilla. That's me. Um, Shin Godzilla is from. Let me take a look here. Also, just pretty clear, Eva fans, I'm not going to dunk on you this time around. I'm going to be serious. I actually really like Shin Godzilla, but so don't worry about that. But Shin Godzilla was the Godzilla not reboot, but latest project that was done from Toho officially back in 2016, and I believe it was the start of what they are calling. Let me see here. Yeah, Toho's third reboot of the franchise, and it's Reiwa period. So those that don't
Hmm.
know, Toho has always been the ones behind Godzilla, and they have always had their several reboots that have gone through the two reboots that have gone on there. They've called them different periods. I'm not gonna look them up right now because that's a little too much for everyone on there. But basically, this is their third reboot of the franchise in the Reiwa era. So this is kind of what they're
I'm.
working with.
I mean, those are the like the Japanese like the eras of like that Japan is in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure one was at least the Heisei era.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, and then I forget what the most recent one was, unless that is Heisei, and I'm. But yeah, so yeah, Japan moved recently to the Reiwa like era.
Yep, yep, yep. Let me take a look here.
I mean, and
Yeah, there
that's
was
kind of its own.
the Showa era,
Yeah.
and I believe you're right with the find it on here. Yeah, the Heisei era. Okay,
Was
Showa,
Heisei era
Heisei.
first? Oh no,
No,
Showa was okay.
it's Showa, then Heisei, and then Reiwa, as we're in right now. So that's what we're dealing with. And this time around, much like akin to the first Godzilla, which was a commentary on nuclear waste on there, this was a commentary. If I'm having to correct it down, feel free to reprimand me if I'm getting it wrong here. Basically, a commentary on the poor response to the. I'm gonna get the year wrong. The recent nuclear plant meltdown tragedy they had in Japan, and I just had this up too. God damn it!
Oh, I know what you're talking. After the tsunami, right?
Yes, yes. This was inspiration for the film was drawn from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster and the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. So
Yes.
this was coming from Hideki Anno, the creator of Evangelion, original
Uh,
director of that.
I will correct you here, Hideaki Anno.
Hideaki, thank you. I thought I was gonna get that wrong. But Anno, and this was, yeah, like I said before, this time around they were criticizing basically the bureaucracy or the useless bureaucracy that surrounds them from making any definitive and uh, precise and immediate decisions to go ahead and react to disasters in Japan.
Hmm.
And for myself, like, I've always been a big Godzilla fan. I will be someone who tells people, because like I said before, there were two different eras of Godzilla. So depending on where you're watching, everyone wants to think, oh no, I'm a big fan of Godzilla. We gotta admit, Godzilla's been done in so many different ways
You're a big
that,
fan of the Godzilla that you like,
yeah, exactly.
and
Like
some people like all Godzilla.
mm-hmm. Like I can appreciate how Godzilla is, but I know like there is this definite era where it's like, oh no, it's honestly kind of a boring story because not trying to say anything around it. It's just the idea of Godzilla versus a monster on there. Which hey, monster fights are cool, but not so much trying to tell a story around it on there for a lot. Like
Yeah.
I will say still, as my favorite Godzilla movies, like just in different eras, I personally loved Godzilla King of the Monsters. I think that's the best Godzilla movie the West is ever going to make. because it still told a fair enough story of interest involving human characters that still gave prominence and importance to the kaiju themselves as their own identity, their own reasoning for being around.
That's the most recent one. Oh no, I'm sorry, the one before Godzilla versus Kong, right?
Yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong was just a hot mess, but a cool looking
Yeah.
hot mess for those who want to be a part of it. The original Godzilla from 2014, I personally liked that one for the sake of it had very much the same spirit as the original Godzilla in my opinion, but not as interesting. Just so everyone does know, yes, I have actually gone back and watched the first Godzilla. It's a relatively interesting film. So, like, when I say I still like 2014, I'm not trying to, like, say it's the best or anything. I'm just saying it had, it went for the same spirit. I didn't get to achieve the same spirit, but still wasn't that great of a film per se. I still enjoyed it, though. Like I said before, the West, I believe, King of Monsters is the best one we're ever going to get in this, from the Western Hemisphere. But I will say, in terms of, like, having wacky Godzilla, and it's my favorite Godzilla, would be probably from, I think it was probably the end of Heisei, which was Godzilla Final Wars, which was straight up, aliens come and invade. We have special task force on the ground who's fighting them special powers, and it was the last time they went full on people in suits Godzilla fighting it out. And it was such wacky bullshit fun, and I loved it so much. But overall, I would say in terms of like the Godzilla movies that are actually really trying to be that classic feel for Godzilla, I absolutely give it to Shin Godzilla as the best on there. Absolutely. I think it just really is the best Toho has done to try and keep this character alive. I think the only thing that Shin Godzilla loses that the others do have, especially that I feel, oddly enough, people can argue about this with me if they want. I completely understand the different points of view. The idea behind Toho, and the only rule they had when the West most recently took on Godzilla, is the idea that Godzilla is a godly entity. Godzilla is not a character. Godzilla is an entity. Godzilla is a presence. Godzilla does not have emotions. Godzilla has actions, and you make a story around those actions.
Godzilla is a natural disaster.
Exactly.
This is why the line in Pacific Rim about fighting the hurricane hits so hard, is because that's like Godzilla in concept is being a force of nature. It's something that we credit as unstoppable, and that's part of why like all that hype for that movie is there, because they understand what they're like saying with all that.
Absolutely. And while I say like I feel a bit of that is lost in terms of like Godzilla as the entity being a god of destruction in Shin Godzilla, it's still very much, I think possibly more importantly, does capture truly the essence of how does humanity fight what is effectively the natural disaster.
Yeah.
Because this is one of the few times, like, I don't know how you watched it again. I watched it in the dub, because if I'm watching classic Godzilla from Toho, I admit it, it's a guilty pleasure. I watch the dubs. I do. Like, but I'm happy. I did with this one, only for the sake of, once again, this is very much a commentary on and I'm quoting from other things I saw on there, like, obscene bureaucracy behind Japan's response to natural disasters, in terms of how they just can't act decisively or precisely in a fast motion. I'm glad I watched it in dub for the sake of, I don't know if I would have caught the nuances of what was happening if I hadn't been able to hear it and comprehend it instead of reading and comprehending.
Yeah. I mean, personally, like I watched it. I watched the sub, and I thought it came across fine. Like I got everything. There were times when someone said something a certain way, and I just laughed.
Yeah,
I knew what they were like. I knew what they were doing.
And I do want to go back and experience at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it was funny because like it was like, wow, I have no reverence for, like, I have very little reverence, I should say, for Japanese live action. I watch a lot of anime, you know what I mean? So I was kind of like, oh boy, all right, I wonder what the characters are going to be in this movie, because I know that it does focus on the ground team. Makes it feel, I don't know, there's probably a better way to say it, but like The
Human
the
factor.
people on the human factor, the people on the ground making everything work, and the story is centered around Godzilla and everything that happens. But like I did hear very much that they do a very good job of like having the big set pieces with Godzilla, but like it's still being about it's still having a good story to tell, that isn't just big monster.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they thread the needle on that extremely well. Like Godzilla's there basically from the jump, but isn't front and center the whole movie, but it's like ever present in your mind with like, all right, the problems they have to solve, the portrayal of the bureaucracy and how all of the the same fucking table every time. Like that shit's so fucking funny to me. Like I very much enjoyed everything that it was doing, and it wasn't like it's not trying to be super heady about it. It's like it really is beating you over the head with no, this is ridiculous the way some of this shit is handled.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But like I did end up like picking out like characters and stuff. The one lady that ends up being on the team of people who can't work with other people. The one lady who's just deadpan the whole time. Favorite character.
God damn it. Yes,
Oh,
that one.
she's hysterical. But like yeah, the whole movie was just like extremely good, and it's really funny, Carlos, that like one of the few I don't want to say one of the few things, but like one of the things that I don't see many people like fight on about Ava is how good the music is. And boy, the music they play like with like the timpani, the bum 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 bum, like when like things start, when like shit starts happening, like when
Mm-hmm.
they start like getting ideas and planning things out, that's straight from Ava. It's straight from Ava. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what is this? Is this happening? Is this song fucking happening? I was absolutely losing my mind every time it did. And there's one version where I believe the song is called "Decisive Battle." Um, one of the last times you hear it, it's a version that starts off with like guitar chords, and I was losing my mind. I was like, Ano knows exactly what he's doing, and I can't get enough of it. This is insane.
I mean, I will give them that much of the fact that in the movie they know when to use the music and then they know when to just cut it off from you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's very much not they don't have music for every piece, every like set piece or whatever, but or like every scene, but it very much does use it like thoughtfully and is not just like, okay, well people will love it if we do this, even if I do love it when you do that.
Exactly. Because like once again, and this is like for a lot of people who a few months ago they were listening to the episodes, they heard how much I just deeply, deeply hated Godzilla Singular Point. Yeah, now you know what I meant when I said Godzilla Singular Point is basically Shin Godzilla, but you're not in the city. You're not with those characters. You're not trying to make a commentary on the bureaucracy on there, like what really makes this movie something unique and enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it's basically someone trying this hard to tell a good story, but about relative space time and time travel and things of that nature that never sticks to anything, that never really sells it, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't even you see Godzilla more so in this movie than you do in like the entirety of that anime series of 13 episodes. Like basically the entire
Wow.
segment of Godzilla that happens here
Mm-hmm.
happens in Singular Point, but they're just trying to tell some weird space time travel movie or time
Huh.
travel story.
Do they do the weird I literally don't know how much we're going to talk spoilers here. It's an old movie at this point, older movie.
Well, I mean,
Um,
I think anything we would say spoilers wise really sells something because like it's just gonna sound so odd until you watch the movie, in my opinion.
yeah. Okay. So does Singular Point do they do the whole evolution thing?
Yes,
What?
almost frame for frame, they do the whole evolution thing. I'm not
Oh
even.
no,
I'm not.
that's not what people liked about the movie. I mean, yes, that's a very cool presentation, but what?
Yeah, that's the thing though. They do it to let you know what's happening,
Uh huh.
but it's never really the point of any episodes. Like Godzilla's Singular Point never truly focuses on Godzilla. it's more focused on his time travel story and Jet Jaguar, the robot. Like
Hmm.
it's literally an anime series about Shin Godzilla that goes out of its way to ignore the events of Shin Godzilla.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, like I hadn't watched Shin Godzilla forever, but I knew it was very similar. But no, basically it is like all the way from evolving from the worm until the aquaped, until the arms, retreating, coming back to Tokyo, things of that nature. But they add in
So
other
bizarre.
monsters to talk about the monster biology more so. But even then, like they just overanalyze and overexplain everything. That just all the thing that sells Godzilla and Shin Godzilla is the simplicity of they understand the creature once they learn about it. Even the doctor that disappears, that predicts the creature and
Hmm.
disappears. They even retell that the whole thing.
Oh my god, that's so weird.
Yeah,
Did they really go like, well, this was the last biggest Godzilla thing that hit, so I guess we got to do that again? That's
basically,
fucking wild. I
yeah,
would rather, yeah, I would rather just watch this movie again, even though I just watched it.
exactly. I mean, like I said before, when you mentioned it on, when did you mention it? Like Friday?
I think
And
so. Yeah.
like just you mentioning was enough to get me to go ahead and just buy it on Blu-ray finally.
Yeah.
Because like I never want to not have this movie again because like it's not a movie I'll watch like over and over again constantly. As like, oh, this is the greatest Godzilla movie ever, but it's just a good movie. It honestly is. Like it knows what it's trying to commentate on, and it's enjoyable to watch it. Like it's so weird to say that.
Yeah.
Like Godzilla is not the star of this movie. Godzilla is the set piece, but they use that set piece brilliantly.
Yeah. Fantastically. Like it.
It really is the reboot and reimagining of the original Godzilla movie in modern times. And once again, anyone wants to argue with that, argue that with me. I went back and rewatched like multiple of the first original, including the first Godzilla movie, like right after Kong versus Godzilla. That was only a few months ago. So I'm meaning when I tell you this is basically a reimagining of the first Godzilla and everything it tried to do, but in modern times, and it does it perfectly.
Yeah. I don't doubt. I don't doubt it. Like it like it gave me like for all the things that people talk about, like the themes and presentation and just like everything with the original Godzilla. Like I was, I was like getting those like feelings, those things that people have described to me when watching this movie. I'm like, I guess it must be doing a great job,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for not
Absolutely.
having seen it. But like, I do want to watch like original Godzilla now, just so I can like, you know, I hate to
It,
say compare them, but I do want to like, it's
no,
one of those things that I.
honestly, they both complement each other very well because you get the original idea behind Godzilla.
Mhm.
Like if anything makes you like, I can't express it enough to people how much watching the original Godzilla really makes you appreciate Godzilla more for what it's always trying to be. Like, because once again, like I really love Godzilla. I really, really do. That's why I was so mad and heartbroken. The fact I hated Singular Point as much as I did, because like so much, especially here in the West, where so much like, why can't the giant monster just be about the giant monsters and just be about? It's like, no, you're not getting it. Yes, that's part of it, and they can make the movies definitely absolutely if they want to make blockbusters. But part of that is once again, I think after watching Shin Godzilla and watching the original Godzilla, people might better understand why I do not say 2014 was a perfect film. I think it does miss the point of having any kind of document or commentary on anything because it just does not. But it just it more closely resembles that same spirit of what is so important and what is so important to appreciate about the Godzilla character,
Mhm.
the entity of Godzilla, and the stories that get told around it. Like I think like people understand more like why I'm more lenient on 2014 than I am most interpretations of Godzilla for the sake of like it's just like once again Shin Godzilla, 2014 Godzilla, original Godzilla. If you watch them all, you really get an appreciation for this monster, for this entity, and what they're trying to do with it, like what the overall point of it is. Like you really do. Like it's such an odd experience of like that is what like that is the birth of kaiju movies. Like
Mhm.
that is that is the spirit behind kaiju movies and why I have so vehemently always hated the Cloverfield original movie and that entire franchise that they try to make it out to, because I fully believe, like, if you really have stopped to watch these other series, watch other interpretations, you just fully see how just blatantly something like Cloverfield just misses the point of these kaiju
Mm-hmm.
movies.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Cloverfield is just. I hate saying it's trying to be a shock piece.
Well, no, that's the only thing about it. Like, Cloverfield, to its credit, like I said, I say all that because I feel like I'm coming down on it. I just trying to explain why I don't like it. But Cloverfield, the idea behind it was, oh, what would it be like if, like, what would it really be like if a giant monster attacked the U.S.? I was like, okay, I get you, I do. That was
It's
just
the
not,
wow cool robot, right?
yeah.
It's the this is why a Hollywood Gundam is probably going to suck ass.
Like, if the way to sell your kaiju movie is to do everything you can to hide the kaiju in the movie, you've missed
Mm-hmm.
the point of kaiju movies, in my opinion. Like, Godzilla is front and center in these movies. Godzilla is ever present because that's what the point of the kaiju movie is. An entity, an all-powerful entity that is ever present, and what is the reaction to it? What is the world's environment after this event, this natural disaster? And I just, if you ever get a chance, people, I got it on Blu-ray. It was $10 on Amazon. I would have paid 20. Uh, So if anyone also wondering if Shin Godzilla comes out in 4K within the next year, you're welcome, because that's my luck.
I mean, they're gonna do it. I mean, also like, it's funny. There's just so many things that are just like interesting tells. Like I've seen like a theory video on like the tail and like specific scenes dealing with that,
Mm-hmm.
and just different things that are just like I don't know, that I just found really interesting, and I was like, oh yeah, this I don't feel like this was ever like explained.
Yeah. No, I mean, because
And
I will say the end scene with the tail, that
mhm,
is I could be mistaken, but I believe that is the first time they've really ever hinted to that type of situation with a Toho series.
mhm. Well,
Like,
wait, what kind of situation?
um mutated offspring.
Oh, okay. So it's funny. I there are like art books and stuff that like talk about the movie and like production notes. Um, at one point during the movie, it says two of the different things that they say about Godzilla's next evolution. One of them is about like, oh, it could what if it becomes capable of like intercontinental flight or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. There is a shot of like what a final evolution for Godzilla would look like, and I believe it had like wings. Um, and then there is one of the tail and like the creatures coming off, and one of the other like supposed the thought of evolutions during the movie. Someone says, "Well, what if it became smaller?" Those like
Yeah.
smaller things coming off are actually the fifth evolution of Godzilla in that
Mm-hmm.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's like from production notes and stuff. And but there's also like and there's also been shown in like statues and stuff of that shot. There is a face in the tail,
Yeah.
and there's a whole thing about like I think the one of the original thoughts for the movie was what if we have two Godzillas? What and there's like even shots of like art where it's like a Godzilla stepping out of a Godzilla. So
Yeah.
like I'm sure we'll get a sequel, and I'm really wondering if because I also found out about these movies, if Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider are going to be in the same like universe, because
I
apparently Anno is slated to work on those.
Yeah. So let me double check again. Hey, how do I put this?
I just wonder if like because there are theories that like the final shot of Godzilla when the thing's coming off the tail or with those things coming off the tail of that being like a skip in time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering if Ultraman is like the Shin Ultraman thing is going to be dealing with fighting those, or the Shin Kamen Rider movie. I don't know. Maybe they're just going to be called that because Anno's directing them and they won't have any involvement. but the way this motherfucker can't let anything sit.
Well, I'm gonna say no. So the thing about that is that it could be onto something because once again, people forget this was made and released for 2016 because of the deal with Legendary. And this is in fact I'm quoting from the wiki right now. This was also back when they first said it. Uh, they were not allowed to make another Godzilla film, Toho, I mean, until after 2020. So the reason we never saw a sequel so far is that they legally could not. They
That's
agreed to give
weird.
Legendary their time to make their Godzilla movies because they didn't want them overlapping or competing with each other. So now that the
Oh,
time frame has happened, Legendary is still allowed to make movies, but Toho can now make movies as well. They've had their leniency period. That's people were thinking that King of the Monsters would be the end of that, basically.
mhm.
But now Toho can make more Godzilla movies. They say they want to go ahead and make a sequel. Let me see here. But they just couldn't really at that time. So they said they didn't. The announcement was in May 2018. Toho announced that it would not make a sequel to Shin Godzilla, but would instead establish a shared universe model to the MCU, basically.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's the other Shin movies then.
Basically, yeah. So we'll probably see this happen again, but it seems at least this is from 2018, so about 3 years ago, that they were not thinking about a direct sequel to Shin Godzilla, but a sequel to the universe or a continuation of the universe it creates.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, we're who knows what's actually in the works, and we might not get shown things until it's like, you know, 6 months till it comes out.
Basically, because once again, this is also all stated facts before COVID happened,
Yeah,
and Japan.
adjustments to how things are shot, and like these are going to be live action movies, so
Yeah, and people like we don't cover it on the news segment anymore because honestly, it just happened too often to the fact that Japan does go into state of emergency for COVID quite often, still off and on, throughout the
yeah.
entirety of the pandemic. So they're taking it very seriously and shutting things down very, very often. And people are getting sick quite often. So, like,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see it someday in the future. There is no real telling though at this point in time.
Also, realistically, if we cover that every time it happened, it just becomes a depressing segment.
Yeah,
We're all trying to just live. We know what's going on.
yeah, absolutely. Um, but yeah, no, that Shin Godzilla once again just a masterful movie. Truly
Fan
masterful.
fucking tastic. Like, oh, just. Oh, also, if you don't, if you're interested in it, if everything we've talked about is interesting, but you still don't want to like pull the trigger on the Blu-ray, I believe it's on Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah, for like
Got Prime Video, just watch it.
it was $5 for the rental, right?
I think so.
$4.
Something like that. I could check. But yeah, it's fairly cheap, But like, Carlos just got the movie for double that, so you might want to just make that choice. After I didn't know how I was gonna like it, but
Yeah.
I kind of wish I just bought it because I'm gonna probably be looking to buy it.
No, I get
Because
you. I get
it's
you. Once
just
again,
so good.
like just you mentioning it was enough for me to be like, okay, I'll pull the trigger. Let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go.
it's such a beautiful, fun, like and like the I cannot overstate enough how many times you will see this specific fucking table, and I was just laughing every time. Like every time they're like, "Well, I guess we need another table." I don't think they say that,
It
but
multiplies.
it does. It's absolutely like hysterical. Uh,
The secret commentary behind more unique tables. Uh,
oh my god.
all right, folks. But that's gonna be it for what we've been watching. And move now into catalog updates.
Oh wait, hold on, because I'm running catalog updates. Um, did I talk to you about? No, I did talk to you about this, Carlos, about how the there's a line in the movie where it is um
Oh, the economy person.
yeah, someone's talking about like there's basically a conversation of like lives and grievous harm, and someone goes, our economy is the lowest in the world right now, we need that money. And I was just like, I had to stop the movie, get up and get another drink, another alcoholic beverage, because I was like, this hits way too hard after COVID, because it's literally what's happening. and I was just upset. It's not on the same scale, but man, it almost feels like it. How many dead? Let's not talk about it. Oh boy. Anyway, good. I mean, Kojima and Anno really getting in there with the things predicting the future.
I mean, books, people read them. You'll be depressed once you find out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So let's move on to catalog updates. All right. So Funimation adding Ragnarok, the animation. I'm guessing on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, oddly enough, so there's been an agreement where both Gonzo's YouTube channel and Funimation's YouTube channel is carrying these series.
Huh.
Oh
Maybe it's
no.
because okay, these are older shows.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing this is because, they're older, it's whatever, if we have free content, it'll draw more people in, then they'll see ads for, our paid content or whatever. I'm sure that's what it is. But yeah, so Ragnarok the animation, Witchblade, and Burst Angel are all up on Funimation's YouTube. And I guess they're also on Gonzo's then?
Yeah, apparently. I don't
Cool.
know what the reason for that is. Once again, these series are on the Funimation website as well. They're not missing.
Hmm.
They just decided to put them on the YouTube channel too for some reason. So enjoy,
Hmm.
kids.
And then there's also Kageki Shoujo. That dub is happening. I guess that just started then.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess the first or second episodes of that are up. Hive has added Twittering Birds Never Fly. Don't Stay Gold OAD. That's going up on September 10th. And then Banished from the Heroes Party goes up on October 6th. And then I guess we have some dates because remember Baki Hanma from last week going up on September 30th for Netflix, as well as Seven Deadly Sins, Dragon's Judgment Part 2, and Seven Deadly Sins, Cursed by the Light. Those are going up on September 23rd and October 1st, respectively.
Yeah. I'm still upset the fact I had to go look up that date for the part 2 of Dragon Judgment because if I had not found that, I would have absolutely believed that Netflix was putting out the sequel movie to the final season before the second part of the final season because I totally see them doing that.
That's hysterical.
Yeah. Oh boy. Anyway, folks, moving on to new announcements. First up, the live-action One Piece series script has teased. No, that's a weird one, and that's not. I wouldn't word that the way that. Okay, anyway, the script for the live-action One Piece series is teasing the logo and episode 1's working title, which was, let me double check on here. The Romance Dawn, which was the first chapter of the manga itself. The logo looks like a more realistic actual skull, 3D skull, and they do not have Luffy as the eye any longer for this first logo. So that's been going on there. A lot of mixed feelings right now about the live action. Honestly, I don't think we're going to know anything until we get some actual set images or some more descriptions on there because it's a mixed bag right now. On one
Yeah.
hand, the person on there is apparently a really big fan of One Piece. Actually got permission from, his name has left me now. The creator of One Piece. Holy shit.
Uh.
We
Oh
talk
my
about him.
God.
We talk about him constantly. Let me see here. Oda.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh no. Oda. Fuck.
Oh no. Oda's other. Wrong place. But no, Oda. Yeah,
Fuck.
apparently he's actually did meet with Oda and actually got this series made because he convinced Oda of his idea being a good idea. And Oda will be serving as an executive overseeing the project as well, which all sounds good and great and everything until the director has more recently come out as making some comparative statements to American politicians, which is just never a sign of intelligence ever at any point in time, like ever. Just stop that.
Hmm.
So we'll see, folks. We'll see. Continue on from last week, we did go ahead and have a continuation as well. Sony Pictures YouTube channel now has the Marvel Anime Blade as well. So if you want to go to Sony Pictures YouTube channel for throwback tunes, you'll have Anime X-Men, Anime Wolverine, Anime Blade. God bless your soul. Um, Next up, Incursion of the Climb. Next Summit has unveiled its 2022 debut. If this ever gets a dub, I'm gonna go back and watch this series because it looks wholesome as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have any history with this, but it looks wholesome as fuck to me.
I yeah, I God, that's I think this is the second season.
I thought third, but let me double check.
Next Summit. Yeah, it might be the. I believe I had interest in the first season, and then I was like, they have how many seasons now? Ah.
The
Also,
manga
I just read
inspires.
debut as dub. Jesus.
Damn it. Okay, here we go. First season debuted in 2013, followed by
Yeah,
the
I'm
second season in
old.
2014, and third season in 2018. So this has been around for a while.
Oh God. Wait. So this is the fourth season?
Apparently,
Jesus Christ.
I don't know, folks. I watched a trailer for it. It's out there. Once again, wholesome as fuck. I'm about it. Let me get up for this. Let
Yeah,
me.
I mean, it sounds like it's my shit.
Yeah,
Honestly.
absolutely, absolutely. And not so much anime related, but I felt it was still something we wanted to put out there. Black Clover manga takes a 1 week break due to the author's poor health. So if you're a fan of Black Clover manga, like such as I am, last week it was scheduled to release as normal. Did not happen because the mangaka has gotten sick, took a week off. Apparently, we'll be back next week. I'll say it right now. Please take care of yourselves first. Black Clover is amazing. This is probably the biggest arc we've had so far. Had a lot of resolutions happening here right now. Um, I'm fine if we get a break here for like a half year, whatever. It's cool. I just don't want the mangaka to get sick and not be able to finish work.
I
Period.
I hate also the way these are just like worded. It's never like author catches a cold, takes a break. It's poor health. It's like damn. It's like these articles are being written with a purpose, which they should be. Is like these people shouldn't be working themselves into poor health.
Yeah, like you're an artist. You should be able to take a goddamn break.
Yeah.
I always concerned with manga fans of like they just don't understand how spoiled they are that they get their stuff weekly. Like that's a lot of work. Even if it is black and white only, that's
Hmm.
still tremendous amount of work to go ahead and get done for a single individual. I only get my comics once a month, and that's if they get to complete and don't get canceled. Like the amount of work that goes in just to get to the point where it's kind of maybe only missing color weekly. Oh fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah.
That's insane. That is so insane. Like, it's cool. Like, take your time. Once again, I wish nothing but health to Tabata, and I hope this, gets the rest that they need. Absolutely. Next up, Demon Slayer: The Entertainment District arc is going to have a fall premiere. While it may have been stated as a two curs season, it will be two halves, but they're going to be back to back continuous from fall into winter. So that's all
Oh,
going to be
okay.
one continuous run.
So that is basically a two curse season. Weird
Yeah,
that they had to
yeah.
specify. They're probably taking a break at some point.
No, they said it's going to be a continuous run. There will be no break.
Real
So
there's not going to be like a 1 week break or something. I'd still count that as continuous run, honestly.
not that I'm seeing on him. Let me reread the article to make sure. They said continuous. Well, because they said two quarters, basically quarters of the year, but they wanted to clarify that this means it's going to be an ongoing season that's covering from one year quarter into the next.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what's going on there. Let's see here. And then Orient has revealed they will have a January 2022 debut. That is the new anime series based on the latest manga series from the creator of Magi. Very interested in that. There's a teaser up for that. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and be January 2022 so far. And that has already been promised to Crunchyroll. But we'll see what that turns into as the months go on and the deal
Well,
between
we
Funimation
all
and
know.
Crunchyroll
Like I
gets
say,
finalized.
we all know who they are. Because like didn't that no that did get finalized, right?
Yes, they're finalized. They're
Yeah.
finalized. So we'll see what that turns into later on in the year, or into New Year, I should say.
Yeah.
And then lastly, a new anime streaming service, Amika. is planning to expand outside of Japan. So another streaming service based in Japan is trying to go ahead and put their hat in the ring as a contender for anime streaming. So we'll see what that turns into. I'll follow the story as it develops, but just an announcement on there. Nothing, no promises just yet.
We'll see what Sony has to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Sony will remember that.
Jesus.
Moving on into new dates. Lupin the Third Part 6 has teased a Sherlock Holmes plot this time around and announced an October 9th debut.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, so we'll see what that turns into. Let me see here. Next up, Tesla Note has revealed an October 13th debut. Yes, that is an anime. Let me see here. It is a spy action manga following Mission T, a shadow war of spies and secret intelligence waged to prevent the war's destruction. The story follows Baton Nagoro, who has trained as a ninja since childhood and has grown to become a talented spy. She teams up with Kurama, a spy who has a flair for theatrics, in a new mission with the world at stake to retrieve the Tesla crystal, the legacy of genius Siberian American inventor Nikola Tesla. But other countries and their agents are already moving to secure the Tesla crystal, and Botan and Kurama will have to use all their wit to outsmart them.
You can't just say Botan and Kurama. You literally can't do that. I call
happened.
Foul.
I don't know what to say.
I mean, their names are basic. I'm gonna say the names in Yu Yu Hakusho were probably taken from like myth and legend, so it's fine. I just
Look,
there will never not be.
I'm more stuck on the idea that Nikola Tesla made a magic crystal that could serve all, like save or solve all the world's problems, and hid it somewhere for other organizations to go and find. Because I believe it. This is not an anime. This is a documentary, and they don't want you to know about.
I was gonna say this sounds more like I know who fucking hid that, and it was what the fuck is his name?
Edison.
Yeah, fucking Edison hid that shit. It wasn't Tesla.
All right.
I know that motherfucker.
Edison was a terrible person, people. Just super clear. Thomas Edison was a terrible fucking person.
He's part of the reason that electricity is paid for.
Yep. You find his grave, spit on it. Like a big old loogie. Anyway, Discotheque is releasing on November 30th the ZX Ignition, Lupin III vs. Detective Conan, the movie. Yurisi Yatsura, Only You, Remember My Love, Lumda Forever. Yeah, that says that. The Final Chapter, Always My Darling, and Kodacha and Sayuki Reloaded. All November 30th in Blu-ray.
Urusei Yatsura is the you know who Lum is, right?
Let me double check.
She is the girl in like the tiger striped bikini.
Yes, there we go. Yes.
Yes, yeah, she is from that series. Yeah, same author as Rumiko Takahashi, Ranma. You know that whole thing. The progenitor of the rom-com as we know.
Yeah. For those that did have dubs on them, they were released for the dubs. Those did not, was not. Same with Kodansha, the animated series. That was one everyone might know is an earlier Funimation joint with Laura Bailey featuring the middle schooler or the elementary schooler who sang and rapped throughout the plot. And this will also include the middle school portion later on. However, what was dubbed is still dubbed. What was not dubbed is not going to be dubbed. So that second set will be in 2022. Sayuki, I've said it before, say it again. I think the series looks cool. I've always wanted to get into it. There's so much of it and so many different remakes. I don't know where to start, but if you do, it's coming for you. Best luck to you. Also, Project Aiko Blu-ray release will go ahead and be on December 21st. Let me see here, and that will include the original English dub. So, classic for you, but it's going to be out there. Pura Ore, Pride of Orange Hockey anime is going to be having a October 6th debut. It's an idol one, but it's about hockey, so I'm down with it. Let's go. Why not?
That's interesting.
Yep. Suki to Laika to Nosferatu premieres on October 3rd. Yes, that's the title. Suki to Laika to Nosferatu. Have fun with that, kids.
Okay, I'm pretty sure it's two red as toe, so it's Suki and Laika and Nosferatu.
Here. Oh, no, there we go. English, well, not official, but English translation would be The Moon, Laika, and Nosferatu. There we go. There we
Oh,
go.
okay. The moon, of course. That's Suki.
Okay, there we go. There we go. See, they used English words, so I didn't think it was that odd. Thanks for catching that for me. Last for new dates, Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai smartphone game is launching globally on September 28th. I'm upset. This looks like a cool game. Create your own character. You get a party. It's like the Sonic Unleashed. You see the character running forward, and you're attacking things as they come by. And so like, I'm mad. I'm mad. Whatever. And then last up, we do have a required reading this week. So this is coming to us from Kim Morrissey at Anime News Network. As always, in a struggling anime workplace, Cool Japan feels like a joke. So for those who are familiar with it, I remember the story we covered a few months ago. Cool Japan was a fund set up by the Japanese government to go ahead and reinvest in certain possible, how would I put this, tourism tracks, basically, to increase tourism and money flow in Japan. And this is an article basically talking about the strategies of why certain things failed, mostly things failed, and why certain things were done as investments, such as their investment into Sentai Filmworks instead of a bigger entity like such as Crunchyroll or Funimation, and things of that nature. And how basically it's an article going into details of they can go ahead and spend this money which they want to encourage tourism, and things of that nature, but the actual real problem right now anime is facing is the fact that they have never been more popular, has never been more in demand, never had more projects, but they cannot keep young artists. They cannot keep them employed. They cannot keep the workflow going. Much of that money that they're putting into these businesses to go ahead and keep them up afloat is really just going into overpriced outsource payments, because they are still not paying living wages properly for young animators enough to make them stay within the industry. They are leaving the industry.
Fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah. So if you do want to, get that deeper dive into anime industry, the culture, see what's going on there, why things are handling, why you're getting so much anime as you are right now, but it seems the quality is kind of so all over the place, so much so, and why so many groups are kind of doing the same themes over and over again, I highly suggest that read, give you a little more knowledge on there. Absolutely. And with that, folks, that's going to be it for the night.
I actually have one small thing. Small is relative size. But the last chapter of Berserk was released. That I should say.
Latest.
The last chapter that Miura touched. Has been released. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read this. This is in English on the last page of that chapter. It is also in Japanese, but it is amazing that they put the statement in both, and it's actually fairly good English. For all fans of Kentaro Miura, we would like to take this opportunity to thank all of our Berserk readers for your continued support. Berserk Chapter 364, published in this volume, is the last work of Kentaro Miura. We were able to carry on the manuscript he left behind and publish this time. Carry on the manuscript he left behind and publish this time thanks to the dedicated support of Studio Gaga members who worked on Berserk together with Miura over the years. Also, we're delighted to announce the later release of the comic book this December. So I think that's the volume of manga. We thank all readers for waiting such a long time, especially in circumstances where information was unclear and ambiguous. This volume also serves as a special memorial to Miura and his last manuscript. We decided to use his ink sketch for the cover, especially this time, hoping to convey to all the readers his passion, which is so strong and fully perceivable even from the ink sketches. We hope that you will feel the devotion he put into his work in creating this volume. We have grown deeply aware of how big and powerful Berserk is to us, just like Guts' mighty Iron Sword. We're deeply sorry to inform that there's no information to share about the future of the Berserk series at this time. One thing we can promise is that Young Animal, the magazine it's published in, the publisher of that has worked with Miura on Berserk, our first priority will be always placed on him, what he would think if he were still with us. Last but not least, we have a message for the fans from Japan and overseas. We've read all the letters that have been sent with great appreciation. We would like to express our gratitude to you once again and your continuous love and support. So, the last chapter that he had any work on has been published, and we currently don't have any information about what they're going to do.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would like to assume that they, have his best interests in mind and everything. And
yeah, like from my understanding, what I'm researching right now, for those who are watching the video of this, I wasn't looking way out of disrespect. I was trying to find a way to inform people how to get a hold of that chapter online legally. I couldn't find anything right now. I would say best bet, try Comixology. They typically do sell the Berserk online there, Berserk issues online there, so maybe look for that. I couldn't find any subscriptions that were currently running the Berserk chapters though.
Yeah, I don't know where to read it, and like the shots that I have seen that wasn't even a screenshot of like a scan. That was literally someone took a picture of that page and posted it online directly from the magazine.
Yeah.
So but amazing that they put it in English too. I mean, it is the most widely spoken language, not the most spoken language, but
yeah.
So kind of incredible. I was amazed that it was worded so well. I mean, not being mean here or anything. I was just like, that's truly recognizing the world appeal of it is to having them put it out, officially in the Japanese print, both in English and Japanese. That's wild. So
absolutely. But yeah, no, with that, folks, once again, though, keep an eye on that as well. I will say to your point, apparently, from the research I was just doing right now as well, I'll look that up, the editorial team would like to continue Berserk, but they're keeping in mind what Miura would want.
I wonder. It's so funny because like I do not want to bedraggle this in mean spirit and cynicism, but I truly wonder if that means if what Miura would want is like what his estate is going to let them do with it.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where like I believe in recent history, more like creators are keeping like final say on their work, and in death, I'm sure part of that goes to their next of kin.
Yeah.
Like with how like God, I forget who Daisuke lost the rights to Guilty Gear to for the longest time. It's one of those things that where like in the 90s and like early 2000s, there was a lot of people I don't want to say not owning their work in Japan, but like difference of like, well, if I make this and Disney produces it, does Disney own this or do I own this kind of situation? But I think that's gotten better in recent history, especially with these things blowing up outside of like Japan. But I don't know. This is 100% me talking out my ass. Please don't take me as an authority on this. This is just from things I've seen throughout the years. So I really do wonder if that's like, well, we'll see what his estate says, or if they truly are thinking about what he'd want. So interesting. I'm not trying to be cynical. Just even if they do continue, there will be a group of people that are like, how true is this to what we had? And it sounds like his death was not expected. So I don't know if he had everything planned out.
All right, then.
Who knows? Anyway, basic speculation. What do you always want to end a podcast on?
Absolutely. All right, then, folks. Then, once again, because I am not going back to re-edit the outro, it's going to be right where it was to start. So I hope you enjoyed all of that with some jazzy music. Let me know what you felt like. Maybe we just keep music going on the entire podcast. I don't know.
You had already started the music? Oops.
No, I will not. I'm gonna put it later. But when I say normally, when I say like, and that's gonna be all for us tonight. That's normally my cutoff point of like, okay, we're gonna put the outro music there, on there, and I don't want to see. Yeah, see, I don't want to repeat myself and do it all over again. So we're just gonna leave it as that. As we're talking right now, you're hearing the music that is currently playing.
Is this the bit? Is this the bit, Carlos? Did we find the bit? Did you just put the bit at the end of the show?
the bit was 14, alright? Which we're gonna go
Okay.
play in just a moment. But with that, folks, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and we're happy to see you next week. And, how do I put this? No, it's fine. We'll end it there. I was gonna make a joke about the you-knows, but I'm just gonna edit them out anyway. So, if you're wondering how many there were, too late, I got them all. Bye!